Hey everybody, this is Shaun of the Dead, just doing another quick video for you. This will be a pretty short video. I'm just going to do a quick little review on this Jennings here by Bryco. It is chambered in 9mm. It's about the same dimensions as my Kel-Tec PF9. It is pretty much an all-metal gun. The hand grips on both sides are plastic, that's about it. Everything else seems to be pretty well metal for the most part, but it is pot metal. Just to be clear, it is cheap crap gun. Just first thing right out of the gate, flame this thing. Quick story is my buddy won this in a card game. We were out shooting at the range. I was shooting a PF9 at the time, and he was, I'm sorry, my P89, sorry, my Ruger P89. He was shooting this. We switched back and forth. He went back to this after he shot mine, and right through here on the slide all the way around. As it come back, this piece broke. As it come back forward, that whole front part of the slide, it flew off, went down range, front side and all. All the guts, the guide rod spring, all the guts flew right down range. I looked over, and the bottom part of the slide was about up here, and I looked over and he had a strange look on his face, like, "Whoa, dude, what the hell just happened?" And I was like, "Whoa, dude, what just happened?" And he hands me the gun. I clear the weapon. On the ceasefire, we go down range. We retrieve all the pieces. I happen to know of a guy that has a gun parts store fairly close to me, and he has odd items where, you know, something that's like, you know, not manufactured anymore, like this, or something that's hard to find. He may have some old stuff, things like that. I was able to find a slide for it. I put a new slide back on it, and went ahead and picked it up. Now, the weight of this gun is extreme, but it's all pot metal. So, something else odd about it is it kicks worse than my Kel-Tec PF9 kicks, and it has a synthetic lower receiver. And this being an all-metal gun kicks worse than that, even though it has about the same dimensions, shooting the same round. But it's all pot metal, so it's junk. It's just crap. The thing is I don't believe they make any Jennings anymore anyway. I believe they have Jensen's now. I believe it's like the CEO or former CEO, some former bigwig or whatever, from what I understand, that used to work for Jennings, now has their own company, Jensen's, and they're making guns. And they're also a low-end firearm, kind of like your High Points, in that ballpark of price range. They're extremely cheap. I played with one a little bit at a gun show, and took a peek at it, and manipulating it, it felt like a cheap gun, but I haven't had any experience with it yet. I'll do a review later once I get more experience. So I can't say anything to them to, you know, any real review yet. But I can give you a review on this because I've played with this. I've had it apart, cleaned it, put it back together, fired it, and then repaired it when it broke. So when a gun breaks like that, before you put 50 rounds through it, yeah, it was probably not any good. So it's one thing we want to make sure you know is that do not buy a Jennings by Bryco. They're horrible. They're not reliable. They're heavy with a high kick, which is odd because usually, if it has a heavier firearm, usually has a little bit less recoil to it. But this is not the case in this one, and it's made out of some junky pot metal. So yeah, the Shaun of the Dead saying, do not buy this gun. It is horrible. It's not something that you really want. Now, if you're just looking for a cheap beater or something, still don't get it. You know, if you want a cheap beater or something, you know, go spend $300 instead of, you know, $150 on something like this, and go buy yourself like a Kel-Tec PF9, and then you'll have yourself a gun that you can rely on. So, if you're wanting to try to stay in that lower ballpark, or go buy yourself for about $350 or $400. You can probably find yourself a good used Ruger PF9. Those will last you forever as long as they're not been mistreated by the previous owner. You can pick one up fairly inexpensive, and they'll just keep on shooting for you. They're great. So I'll do a review on one of those here shortly. But again, this is just a uncomfortable gun to actually to break down and clean. You have to push in on the back here and pull the trigger and manipulate the thing. It's not a quick breakdown like a Glock. You just pull the tab, slide it off, field strip it, clean it, wipe it down, whatever's necessary. Put it all back together and bam, you're ready to go. This, you actually have to take the gun apart if you accidentally pull the trigger or bump the trigger whenever you're doing all this process, or set it down too hard. All these springs that are in here just shoots out and bam, you're done. It's gone. So you got to make sure you find all the springs, put everything back together. I spent like probably 20 minutes the first night I took this thing apart, trying to get the springs and stuff because I launched them across the room. So yeah, little bitty springs across the room on a tan carpet was not fun. So yeah, this is not a fun gun to take apart and put back together, and I enjoy doing that, by the way. So it's not like I don't like cleaning firearms. I actually am kind of OCD about it. But on this aspect, this is not a fun firearm to take apart. So this is Shaun of the Dead saying, you know, that's, you know, comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. You know, video responses, you know, go ahead, feel free to respond via video or text. I don't mind. I'll try to get back with you as quickly as possible. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe.